In my previous video, The 3 Leadership Styles, I reviewed the 3 basic leadership styles that I've encountered as a corporate trainer. The bull, who is very task-focused and cracking the whip at every turn. The lamb, who is the social butterfly that everyone loves. And the thoroughbred, who has a very balanced style. They're task-focused, organized, and structured, but they're equally relationship-focused, witty, personable, with great social skills. The unfortunate reality is that most of us are naturally wired to be more task-focused or relationship-focused, so achieving that highly effective balanced style often requires some work. Let's take a look at how you might begin that process. The first step is identifying where you are. Ask others for their opinion if you're not sure. Think about your approach when working on a project. Do you tend to be more analytical, structured, organized, and task-focused? Or are you the one with the great social skills who's a natural connector, listens intently, and is empathetic? If you're naturally more task-focused, you probably benefit from enhancing your relationship skills. And if you're naturally more relationship-focused, you'd probably be more effective if you could strengthen your task skills. The question then is, how do you do it? While there's no silver bullet to change your leadership DNA, you can certainly take steps to enhance your style. Let me share an example from my own personal journey. I'm naturally wired as a more task-focused type leader, the bull. And early in my career, that style served me fairly well. Managers loved giving me tasks because they knew I'd dot every I, cross every T, and make sure that task was done right. But as I moved up the corporate ladder and acquired more responsibility, I started noticing that my task-driven style wasn't working so well. True confession, I was that person who only called you when I needed something, who didn't really love the pre-meeting chit-chat. Honestly, I didn't care so much about your weekend. I just wanted to start the meeting, get the latest status on your task, and keep it moving. But let's just say that I may have had the world's best Gantt chart, but I wasn't winning any popularity contests. And before long, I couldn't help but notice that it was starting to impede my effectiveness. Here's an example. As a project manager, I conducted weekly conference calls, and there was one woman on the team who I'd had ongoing friction with over the life cycle of the project. She was the type who was always turning in deliverables late. It was like pulling teeth to get what I needed from her on a weekly basis. Honestly, I just thought she was Satan's cousin and probably had problems getting along with everyone. Needless to say, we had a contentious several months working together. Then, once the project was over, everyone flew to Atlanta for a project celebration. As luck would have it, they sat that woman right next to me for the team lunch. Since the project was now over, we didn't really have much task stuff to talk about, so we were somewhat forced to have that informal chit-chat that I always hated. About 5 minutes into our conversation, somehow the subject of the young and the restless came up, and we quickly realized that we both had watched the soap opera for more than a decade. Immediately, we started gabbing about Nikki and Victor and Jack, and before we knew it, we were laughing like sorority sisters. In that moment, I had an epiphany. If we had just had this interaction before the project started instead of after, it would have likely transformed how we work together. After that experience, I definitely started to think differently about my leadership style. Although I'd prided myself on being very task-driven, I didn't previously realize the importance of building relationships as well, and the negative impact it can have on tasks when you don't. So, my being the task driven person I am, I developed a plan for improving my relationship skills. By this time, I was now working on another project, and there was another woman that I didn't get along with well. Notice the pattern here. This time, though, I decided to do something different. I took out a post-it and I wrote 3 things that I knew that she really cared about. First, American Idol. She was addicted to it. Second, Goizueta MBA. We had that in common because I graduated from there and I knew she wanted to get an MBA. And third, her little chihuahua Fifi. She loved him to death and she would dress him up and take him to competitions on the weekend. I put the post-it on the handle of my phone as a reminder for me to ask her about something on the post-it before I launched in to whatever I wanted when I called her. That might sound crazy to those of you who are relationship people, but for me, it was like giving myself training wheels to begin to build that relationship skill. In fact, I had to add a caveat to it later to remind myself not to ask questions in a manipulative kind of way just to get through it. Like, how's your damn dog because I need my stuff. Soon, I was developing a pattern of engaging with people on a personal level first, either by phone or in person, before interrogating them about their tasks. And I was amazed how my relationships slowly started to improve. This is just one tiny example of how I took baby steps to try to develop a more balanced leadership style. The question is, what are you doing to enhance your leadership style? If you're interested in learning more, contact us today for information on our workshop, Secrets of the Thoroughbred Leader. In this workshop, participants will conduct a self-assessment of where they are on the task relationship continuum. They'll learn how the Thoroughbred leader addresses common leadership tasks like setting team goals, motivating staff, delegating to others, communicating effectively, and managing conflict. They'll hear more of my own personal story about how I consciously worked for years to migrate my own task-driven style to become more balanced. And most importantly, they'll learn tips and techniques for enhancing their own leadership style wherever they are on the continuum. Most importantly, it won't be another one of those dreadfully boring presentations or training sessions where you'd rather watch paint dry. Whether you're interested in a presentation for a team retreat, conference, or lunch and learn, or a half or full day training workshop, the session will be highly interactive and packed with practical tips that participants can begin using immediately. Contact us today at info@professionalismmatters.com or call us at 678-777-7188.